crazy how many teams had a chance to win. The Ripper GC went from 9 back to leading by 2 to near the cellar again late in the day. It was so volatile, counting 4 scores. It was pretty nuts, but you know, the cliques have been cellar dwellers for basically 2.5 seasons, and they come out victorious today. That's awesome.
It'll be the summer of the cliques, definitely. So, like I said, there's definitely more to come from us.
It was a magnificent ball striking performance.
Yeah, you know, I got to speak to someone in his camp before he teed off this morning, and they said to me that he is finally feeling extremely comfortable out here. He's not thinking about any swing thought. He's going out there, he's swinging so freely, and it certainly showed today. The way he drove the ball, the way he hit his irons, and even in his putting as well.
Yeah, and lives in Texas, went to school in Texas. His tour win on the PGA Tour was here in Houston, which is Texas, and now his first live win, Texas.
Honestly, it was just a matter of playing solid coming down the stretch. I think there was a switch there on 15 that I made birdie, he made bogey, and I just knew that I had to power in pretty much, and it was mine. The 18 I made bogey, but it worked. He played unbelievable, and he put pressure all the way to the end, and it was a good battle. I love playing here. Obviously, Texas treats me well. It's my adopted home state, so I'm just happy to get it done again in Houston.
The Florida Panthers 1 win away from winning their first ever Stanley Cup championship. And we've got updated numbers right now. We talked about this earlier in the week about if you want to get off the Edmonton train or get in on the Florida train, Bobrovsky was minus 150 to win the Conn Smythe. Bobrovsky's now minus 400 to win the Conn Smythe. Barkov is plus 300. McDavid is plus 1,600. I don't see how that happens at this stage. So unbelievable stuff. What we thought would be 2 very entertaining, close series at both the NBA and the NHL are both sitting at 3-0 right now, and the home team is facing elimination in both games. I'm calling a sweep in both of them at this point, although I've been wrong all the way through for the most part, besides with some totals and stuff. I'm not getting crushed here, but I was wrong in believing that both these series were going 6 games. I don't even think they're going 5 now at this point.
Gabe, I think one of them goes 5. I think it's going to be the Mavericks. I really worry about Edmonton. I think it was what you said, like the way this is so deflating to come back like they did and to lose. You know, hockey players do have a lot of pride, but I don't know, man. Like, that's just how much is left in the tank after this. Coming back from that and having a chance at the end and just falling short. You said it. Every time you were there. Every Stanley Cup final when I've been on the ice, do you know the winning Stanley Cup team won in the other team's barn? You don't win at home. You win in the other team's barn. It's the way it goes. So maybe Florida's going to win in Edmonton sweep.
I saw the same thing here in Vancouver against the Oilers, and there's a lot of similarities with the Oilers and the Panthers and the Canucks and the Oilers, where the Oilers would score with a minute left in the period, and same thing in a Game 7. The Canucks were down by like 3 goals. Remember, they were down by 3. They scored 2 late goals later on, 3-0. They scored 2 goals in the last like 7 minutes. They nearly scored to tie it, but they didn't, right? Then they just sort of suck you back in, but they weren't good enough in the big picture. And now if you're the Edmonton Oilers, you're not coming back. You're worn out. They'll say all the right things to the media, and they'll go through this. But they're going to be worn out right now. And the blame game is going to begin. It's going to be super negative for the next 48 hours in Edmonton. And I think the Panthers will have the killer instinct to finish them off. And another thing, you want to talk about travel. These guys have got to fly like a 6-hour flight, bro. You know what I mean? You just get the damn series over with. The less travel, the better. You know what I mean? If I was Edmonton, I wouldn't even want to be going back to Florida to watch them win the Cup. to be honest. I'm not saying the Oiler players are going to roll over, but I think they're both sweeps.
I'm going to say that the Florida Panthers sweep Edmonton, but the Dallas Mavericks win that game. I think it's going to split. So that's my take. You think both sweeps? I just think in basketball we're going to get one more game, and that thing ends on Monday night.
I've been to a lot of series where teams are down 3-0, and there's a big difference in the building between when you're down 2-0 and 3-0, right? Like, people are really into it, and that, like last night in Dallas, people are really into the game. Tomorrow, they're going to the game, right? It's not the same. They're almost thinking, oh, great, I'm going to watch the Boston Celtics win the championship. It changes the dynamic, but it's up to they always say the hardest game to win is the clinching game. But both these teams, man, have shown such a similarity of showing a killer instinct along the way throughout the playoffs. It's not just in these series. Like look, to Kachuk and Tatum going back to high school, which is pretty crazy, the connection there. But Florida losing last year in the finals, completely different team now, much more committed. Like last year in the finals, Cam, it was Vegas doing this to them. Mm-hmm. Vegas were the ones that were crushing them into the boards. Vegas were blocking shots. Florida were injured. They were getting beat up as it went on. And Vegas outsized them. And now Florida are doing the same damn thing to the Edmonton Oilers. It's like rinse and repeat. And like Florida learned the lesson last year of what the recipe is to block every shot, sacrifice on every play of the game for like the 60 minutes, right? Like the Oilers have these mental lapses for like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and they give up a couple of goals. The Panthers don't. I know they gave up the goals late, but Edmonton were desperate coming back there. But they don't make a lot of mistakes, the Panthers.
Let's take a look at the goal scorers tonight. Sam Reinhart with 9 goals already. Valimir Tarasenko, he's amazing. Sam Bennett has 7. We talked about him. And Barkov, a best two-way player, in 7 goals. Look at these guys who scored for Edmonton tonight. Warren Fournier has 2 goals in the playoffs. Philip Broberg scored the other goal. And Ryan McLeod, all with 2-2-2. Where are your stars? Not going to win without Draisaitl not scoring. No Hyman either. Even the Nuge. These are all role players for Edmonton that scored 3 goals. It's unacceptable.
The Edmonton Oilers fans are taking it pretty well as they're showing shots outside the arena. There's a lot of young kids, and they're not trashing things. Yeah. I'm going to say it would be much more aggressive in Vancouver right now. It would be. Like, I know outside the arena, people would be angry right now, down 3-0. People in Edmonton seem to be accepting this. Seems like a nice night there. For the record, the CFL game is resuming at 11:15 Eastern time. So, I don't know, it's been about a 45-minute delay or whatnot, but there's only 2 minutes left in the game. And we got a 23-17 football game. So it'll be an entertaining final 2 minutes here. We'll get people caught up to date with the in-game baseball. We'll take a look at the U.S. Open golf and the start times for tomorrow. It'll be interesting to see the dynamics of playing at different times of the day. There's so many of these analysts on during the tournament. I don't know who half of them are, but one of them was saying, and it was later in the day, and he said that it's the greens it's a bigger advantage to play later in the day and not early in the day. Early in the day, the greens are super fast. And he was talking about how you're better off playing later in the day there because the greens have been walked on all day. They've been beat up. They slow down. And as the day goes on, they don't get faster. They get slower. So it'll be interesting to see some of the people that putted well later in the day tomorrow that are up early tomorrow morning, how that affects them. Because, everyone talks about how fast the greens are going to be, and it's always an exaggeration a little bit, but they're going to be faster at 7 in the morning than they are at 3 in the afternoon.
The only advantage I could say to that is at 7 in the morning, if you look at the guys that led, Cantlay played early. Those were clean greens. Aberg, one of the first groups out, clean greens. But you will see in the afternoon, to your point, Gabe, that's true. And there was also a cloud cover that Rory McIlroy talked about, so they didn't get baked, which really helped, even though it was very hot in North Carolina at Pinehurst. But in the afternoon, Gabe, spike marks, activity and stuff. With Bermuda, it really affects the ball, right? And it can knock a ball that's going in a little bit off. So that's what we have to see. And it's about your luck. Native areas here, some guys get lucky. If you get behind a bush like Victor Hovland did today, you have to take it unplayable. Xander Schauffele probably got, I've never seen him be luckier. He didn't even hit a fairway, but he got a lot of good breaks and shot like even. He could have shot like 6-7 over. Hovland shot 8 over. He got no breaks because every time he hit it in the native area, he was behind a rock, a big patch of grass, or some trouble. So very interesting tomorrow. We'll see how it plays out.
Scotty Scheffler wasn't like saying struggling, but he couldn't get, he wasn't getting into a rhythm really, but he fought through it and he ended strong. I saw his last birdie on a nice long putt that he drained, and he's still getting a ton of respect from the betting markets right now. We'll get you the updated U.S. Open numbers. We went over some of our parlays last night, although there was a hard time getting through them, but we tweeted them out to people as well. And I was off to a good start. They're still offering me money right now. I put $50 on this parlay, and it's a 6-player top 20. Scotty Scheffler top 20, Xander Schauffele top 20, Colin Morikawa top 20, Bryson DeChambeau top 20, Ludwig Aberg top 20, Hideki Matsuyama top 20. $50 pays $1,901, so $1,900 for $50.
If you didn't have a Hideki in there, all those guys are like there. That's
no,
the
Hideki's
thing.
right there as well.
No, he's only
Hideki's
3
right
over.
there.
I know he's only 3 over, and people think that's bad. It's not that bad. There's a lot of guys at 7 over. So, wow.
Yeah, they're still off. They were offering me like $250 earlier today to cash out. I didn't want it.
Crazy how many teams had a chance to win. The Ripper GC went from 9 back to leading by 2 to near the cellar again late in the day. It was so volatile, counting 4 scores. It was pretty nuts, but you know, the cliques have been cellar dwellers for basically 2.5 seasons, and they come out victorious today. That's awesome.
Be the summer of the cliques, definitely. So, like I said, there's definitely more to come from us.
It was a magnificent ball striking performance.
Yeah, you know, I got to speak to someone in his camp before he teed off this morning, and they said to me that he is finally feeling extremely comfortable out here. He's not thinking about any swing thought. He's going out there, he's swinging so freely, and it certainly showed today. The way he drove the ball, the way he hit his irons, and even in his putting as well.
Yeah, and lives in Texas, went to school in Texas. His tour win on the PGA Tour was here in Houston, which is Texas, and now his first live win, Texas.
Honestly, it was just a matter of playing solid coming down the stretch. I think there was a switch there on 15 that I made birdie, he made bogey, and I just knew that I had to power in pretty much, and it was mine. The 18 I made bogeys, but it worked. He played unbelievable, and he put pressure all the way to the end, and it was a good battle. I love playing here. Obviously, Texas treats me well. It's my adopted home state, so I'm just happy to get it done again in Houston.
We'll get back to the U.S. Open momentarily, but this football game is resuming right now. Props to the hardcore fans that stuck it out in the Canadian capital of Ottawa. It's really coming down right now hard, but there's still a bunch of freaks in the stands drinking beer. There's been a long delay, and they came back with just 2 minutes left in the game, and it's 1st and 10 on Ottawa's 42-yard line. I wish they just needed a field goal instead of like I'm right in the middle here of everything, but whatever. We'll see how this plays out. This could be heartbreak for the Ottawa Red Blacks, though. Cam, they're up 23-17. You know what I mean?
They're going to lose 24-23 in Ottawa.
They're up by
fashion.
6. Yeah, and
exactly.
Winnipeg got the ball with a $1.30 with like the way it's set up, or we're going to come back with 2 minutes left with the ball on your 32-yard line. They're kind of screwed.
But to your earlier point, you have a teaser with Ottawa, and if whatever, so it's 40. Winnipeg scores that teaser's one. You'll win everything but the money line, and I'm on Ottawa plus 7.5, and on the teaser with the over. So like, this is good news, man. Like, I don't even care if Winnipeg wins. No, it's bad for your Ottawa 6.5 bet at the start of the year because they're going to steal one early. Right?
This is here right now. Winnipeg just made a big play.
Yeah.
Ottawa should have let him. Ottawa should have let him score.
Right. Like,
he's going in for the end zone. They tackled him on the 5-yard line. Now this allows Winnipeg to milk the clock. Because look, if you allow them to score the damn touchdown, it's 24-23. You're getting the ball back with $1:15 left, and you only need a single point and or a field goal. You can single point, tie the game. All right, so Winnipeg goes for a pass. Wow, that's kind of dumb.
That's
so stops the clock.
That's a great point because, and even if Ottawa doesn't even whatever, you bring out the kicker, you get that damn single, and we're heading overtime.
I would have let him score, Cam. That's why I would have been like, go into the end zone. You're only down by 1, and you have a ball in the CFL with a minute and a half left. Then suddenly you're like, we get the ball back. Then we're like, we have the ball, and you're screwed, Edmonton, because we have the ball now.
Exactly, and it's different in the NFL. There's no guarantees that Ottawa is going to get a field goal, but a single is very easy to attain with that type of time left. Right? So,
and I'm surprised.
I couldn't agree more.
I say Edmonton, Winnipeg, and I'm surprised Winnipeg O'Shea, he threw the ball on first down, and he's throwing it again here. So they're going to get the ball back either way. Wow.
I don't know what they're doing.
Weird play calling. They just threw the ball again, and it was incomplete again. So it's 3rd and goal from the 7-yard line. And now they don't have a choice but to go for this is it. They need to throw like they could have milked the clock, and now either way, if you're Ottawa, they're going to get the ball back now.
This is unbelievable.
In big drama, I say they score the touchdown here on 3rd down. People of Ottawa always get screwed.
That would be so Ottawa. They break up a nice pass on 2nd down and on 3rd down.
Their defense is pretty good. Can't believe the teaser's 40.5, though. It's 47.5, and it's 40.5. You're going to lose by half a point. Here it is. Here's the play. Caleros is going to get sacked. He got sacked.
Game's over?
There's 50 seconds left. Yeah, Ottawa's going to win.
Wow. Great for the total bet at the start of the year. You beat Winnipeg to start off 1-0. 6.5 for the season.
Yeah, I had the 6.5. And I jumped in on Ottawa plus 200 money line on this game, too.
Wow, good pick.
Earlier.
I just took the point.
So it makes up for the teaser, but... So I hit the points, I hit the money line, I lose the teaser, I lose the over. Over 47.5. Just, you know what? It was on pace at halftime. It really was. What was I think it was 16-13 at the half. I think they were up to like 29 points. That the total at the half was 52.5. It didn't help, as you see now. It's been raining. Yeah, it's been raining like throughout the night, off and on. Didn't affect the game early, but there has been portions where the rain's been coming down pretty hard. But let's not assume anything here, Cam. 50 seconds left in a CFL game. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's actually a really good point. But that's interesting that they don't let them score, and they actually trusted their defense and to stop them 3 times. I'm with you. I think the play calling by Winnipeg was a little bit ridiculous. I would have ran one of the time. They were inside the 5-yard line. Like, you kind of keep them guessing. But those plays.
Well, you could have controlled the game and the clock at least, right? You could have just said, all right, let's just take our time here.
Exactly.
But I guess that's the benefit of not letting him score. I know, like, now in hindsight, it's like, okay, that's why you don't let him score. But normally, guys, Winnipeg would score a touchdown in that spot. Like 1st and goal from the 7. They're struggling this year, though. And credit to Ottawa. I remember Keith Bullock used to be on the grid with us from the Tennessee Titans. And we were live on the air once, and it was NFL. And we saw, like, a team let a team score late. He told a story about how Jeff Fisher told him once late in a game to let the team score. And, like, he was the defensive captain calling the play in the huddle to go tell everybody to let him score. And Bullock told Jeff Fisher, I can't do that. He goes, I just can't. He goes, I can't let someone score. And he goes, maybe I can cause a fumble or something, coach. And he goes, so you can't let him score? So Fisher said, all right, sit this one out. And he set someone else in.
But I understand Bullock's point of view. You were trained
he was
as
just
an
like,
offensive
no.
player.
Like, yeah, he goes, I can't tell them to let, no. So he goes, all right, I don't hold it personal, but you just stand here then because we're letting them score. I mean,
That's fascinating. But yeah, that's the thing. You can't tell. Imagine telling that to an old school guy too. Like as sports, it's all evolution.
yeah,
Things
tell
have
that
changed
to Mike
over time.
Singletary. Yeah, we
Exactly.
want you to let him score on the goal line.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Ditka, meet me in the locker room.
Yeah, but you know, in modern football, oh my God, this is what I'm talking about, dude.
What they do?
We just got the miracle and won the teaser to the over because Ottawa just took a safety. Wild CFL.
Yes, we win it all. Oh, I love you. Oh, what a great play. See, that's a smart play.
That's the wildness of the CFL. You never know what's going to happen at the end of these games. I said this a couple, look at it in the little 2 minutes that we've watched here. What the hell's going on?
We were lucky. They were so damn deep. They're like, that was a smart move to take the safety now because they got 14 seconds left and they need a touchdown. Well, they're up 4. The field goal does them do good. It's actually a very good coaching move by Ottawa. I'll give them credit for that. That's smart. Imagine the kick gets blocked. Something crazy happens. You concede the safety. Great call.
This changes everything because now I go from I'll hit the teaser, I'll hit the +8, and I'll hit the money line. It goes from suddenly it's a nice 3-1.
This is amazing.
And like you said, I took Ottawa +6.5 wins too, over 6.5 wins on the season win total. I just like the roster of this team. I like the makeup. I like their coach. Their offense, the one thing about them, their defense is really good. They have a really good, Dedmon's a really good return guy. I caught on early. I watched them in the preseason. Their special teams was really good. They had a bunch of explosive returns. They take a lot of penalties, though. They're a little undisciplined. They got to chill out a bit. They're aggressive.
Crazy how many teams had a chance to win. The Ripper GC went from 9 back to leading by 2 to near the cellar again late in the day. It was so volatile, counting 4 scores. It was pretty nuts, but you know, the Cliques have been cellar dwellers for basically 2.5 seasons, and they come out victorious today. That's awesome.
It'll be the summer of the Cliques, definitely. So, like I said, there's definitely more to come from us.
It was a magnificent ball striking performance.
Yeah, you know, I got to speak to someone in his camp before he teed off this morning, and they said to me that he is finally feeling extremely comfortable out here. He's not thinking about any swing thought. He's going out there, he's swinging so freely, and it certainly showed today. The way he drove the ball, the way he hit his irons, and even in his putting as well.
Yeah, and lives in Texas, went to school in Texas. His tour win on the PGA Tour was here in Houston, which is Texas, and now his first live win, Texas.
Honestly, it was just a matter of playing solid coming down the stretch. I think there was a switch there on 15 that I made birdie, he made bogey, and I just knew that I had to par in pretty much, and it was mine. The 18 I made bogey, but it worked. He played unbelievable, and he put pressure all the way to the end, and it was a good battle. I love playing here. Obviously, Texas treats me well. It's my adopted home state, so I'm just happy to get it done again in Houston.
Well, the CFL game is done. That was an exciting game, an exciting end to the game, I should. The whole game wasn't a great game. It was a good game if you had the Ottawa Red Blacks like we did. We cashed the money line. We hit the +8. The teaser hits because of a weird, the CFL. Weird stuff happens in the final second. So the Ottawa Red Blacks conceded a safety. If that was the NFL camp, people would be going, oh, they did that to make the teasers. They knew the number, right? And it's like, no, it's just the CFL. They're whacked out. They do weird things at the end of games.
Yeah, no, it's a good play. I actually
the field's so big. They're like, we're not going to punt from our end zone, right, to these guys and give them the ball back. Yeah.
It's Winnipeg with a dangerous bunch of guys we're in sleet. Say the guy gets a hand on the ball or you kick it into the wind, Winnipeg starts whatever, and you saw it. Things got interesting. Caleris almost got that ball to the end zone. It was actually a brilliant coaching move taking the safety. If me and you were on the staff, if we didn't do that, I'd be mad because it sets up. They needed a touchdown to win the game. See the Edmonton Oilers media game right after the game, right to Connor McDavid in the dressing room.
It's going to be hours and hours and hours of it.
Yep.
And McDavid had 2 assists. So they're going to say, other people need to step up because he had 2 assists. But no, he needs to score, right? He needs to score. Draisaitl as well. They're not scoring. The role players kept on trying to, keep this team in the game. But at some point, the star players need to step up. But quickly tomorrow, the Montreal Alouettes and the Edmonton Elks are the CFL game. Tomorrow night, Friday night, the point spread is 4.5 right now. The total is 47.5. It's a tricky game as far as the total is concerned, I think. I do think the Montreal Alouettes, I know it's tempting with the Elks. The Elks look pretty good against the Rough Riders in week 1 and stuff, but this Montreal Alouette team has won 9 games in a row, dating back to last year, including the championship game. It's carried over into this year. They have a chip on their shoulder, and they have the same coach who was criticized a lot by others in other towns, Moss, but he's pushing all the right buttons with Montreal. There's a lot of the same players back. They have a chip on their shoulder. People didn't think they were great, and they won the championship last year, and they're playing really good football right now. So probably a close football game, but Montreal will come up with a play or two late in the fourth quarter and probably end up covering.
The more I think about this game, Morency, I'm thinking what happened with that Elks-Riders game was no defense in the fourth quarter. So I know that total, you would think, 47.5, whatever. I think Montreal will be able to score on them and vice versa. Initially, at first glance, I thought under. I'm kind of looking at the over in this football game. I think we can get there.
The thing is, Montreal's defense a lot better than Saskatchewan's defense.
I understand. I understand that. But, but Montreal will be able to score on the Elks. That's the thing. Saskatchewan scored a lot. You saw that fourth quarter, 47.5. This game stayed under. Teaser hits. I think I'm going to play the over. And definitely, I wish that number wasn't 4.5 because a teaser with the Alouettes to the over 40.5, that's something I could sink my teeth into.
I like Saturday's games better. Calgary and BC. The total is 50.5 in that game. Weather will not be a factor. They play in Vancouver and BC Place. And BC have a really good offense. Their defense is suspect to start the season. They have a lot of new players on defense. They got to work them in to the CFL still. We saw the Argos go up and down the field on them last week in the first game of the year. And BC will score on Calgary. And Calgary will be playing from behind, and they'll put some points up too. I think it's like a 34-23 game or something. It's a little pricey with BC -8, but I do think the Lions will cover the number. It'll go over the number. But as far as like a best bet, because we're hardcore, and I've been giving picks for every CFL game. I've posted the side, the total, and a teaser. So a 3-pack for each game. And today we go 2-1 with it. We were 7-5 with it coming into tonight. So now 9-6, playing the side total and tease the 3. It's like Monday Night Football, the 3-pack. But I added the money line tonight. But if you're looking for the best bet of the week in the CFL, I would say that it would be BC and Calgary over the number, in my opinion. And the other game this week is Sunday. Saskatchewan are at Hamilton. Total is 49.5 in that game. Hamilton are -1. That's a very tough game to bet on. I'm not saying I'm not going to bet on it, but it's a tough one, Cam. I like Saturday's game the best. If I had to bet one bet, I'd say over 50.5 on Saturday.
I like over 50.5. I think BC will cover, and I would put them in teasers. And this game on Sunday between Saskatchewan and Hamilton
aren't great, bro, but it's in Hamilton, Saskatchewan. Like it's a pick'em. Like it's like it could go either way.
I don't like anything about that game at all.
I hate to say it. If I had to do it, I say the Rough Riders probably win a close one late.
crazy how many teams had a chance to win. The Ripper GC went from 9 back to leading by 2 to near the cellar again late in the day. It was so volatile, counting 4 scores. It was pretty nuts, but you know, the cliques have been cellar dwellers for basically 2.5 seasons, and they come out victorious today. That's awesome.
It'll be the summer of the cliques, definitely. So, like I said, there's definitely more to come from us.
It was a magnificent ball striking performance.
Yeah, you know, I got to speak to someone in his camp before he teed off this morning, and they said to me that he is finally feeling extremely comfortable out here. He's not thinking about any swing thought. He's going out there, he's swinging so freely, and it certainly showed today. The way he drove the ball, the way he hit his irons, and even in his putting as well.
Yeah, and lives in Texas, went to school in Texas. His tour win on the PGA Tour was here in Houston, which is Texas, and now his first live win, Texas.
Honestly, it was just a matter of playing solid coming down the stretch. I think there was a switch there on 15 that I made birdie, he made bogey, and I just knew that I had to power in pretty much, and it was mine. The 18 I made bogey, but it worked. He played unbelievable, and he put pressure all the way to the end, and it was a good battle. I love playing here. Obviously, Texas treats me well. It's my adopted home state, so I'm just happy to get it done again in Houston.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency. The post-media mortem has begun here in Edmonton. The Edmonton Oilers power play, something that I thought that they would be able to keep them in the series and give them a legitimate chance of winning this series. Clicking at 37% coming into the Stanley Cup Finals, which is an incredibly high rate. 0 for 10 in this series. 0 for 10. They just simply cannot win hockey games if the Edmonton Oilers are not scoring on the power play. And I think it's partially the Oilers power play and partially how good Florida are on the PK, right? Some teams will kill power plays, but you'll notice Florida, every play, these guys are blocking shots. They all slide in front of the puck. They're really sacrificing their bodies not to let pucks get through. And on top of it, as I stated, like the Vancouver Canucks power play, very similar to the Oilers power play. It was so good during the year, and it was so simple. It was like, all right, pass it to Besser, pass it to Hughes, pass it to Pettersson, boom, 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 and then bam, a one-timer. It becomes predictable. And you see Draisaitl is always just at the face-off circle on the power play, and he always just takes the same shot over and over, and Bobrovsky's already there before he even lines up because he knows – it's like, dude, you do the same thing every time. You guys don't shake it up at all. So, like, Florida know this is what they're going to do, and they're doing it. And, like, Edmonton just keep doing the same thing over and over on the power play. Like, at this point, I would shake it up and put the fourth line on the power play, like the third line.
Yep.
Like, literally. And I'd start off with them, and then I'd go back to McDavid or something after.
Send a message.
Well, the skilled guys, they're not shooting the puck, or they're doing the same thing over. Bouchard is rattled. He never shoots. McDavid is the biggest guy that does it. Like, he's the biggest culprit, which he skates around, he gets open, and it's like, yeah, there's a lot of traffic in front of the net, but the Oilers' mentality is, oh, it's going to be hard to get through, so I better pass it again. Instead, if you're Connor McDavid, make someone on the Panthers second guess the next time if they want to stand in front of you when you tee one up from 30 feet in front of them. Like, the Oilers aren't making them pay enough, right? It's like, okay, you guys want to block the net like this? Like, if I was Bouchard, just like let one rip at people's heads and back them off a little bit. But the Oilers are not, right? Their power play is just not adjusting at all. We see this, though, throughout the playoffs with skilled teams. It catches up to them. And Florida are just a better hockey team.
They are. And another thing, Gabe, did you notice something what they do with McDavid, too, how smart Florida is? It's kind of like in the NFL, right? You play press coverage, but the guy will beat you. You know what Florida does? They play off McDavid, wait for him to do his little dangle, and he can't get around the guy. He's like, where are you going? Like, you know what I mean? He doesn't stick on him like glue. He actually plays off him a little bit, and then he does his little thing, and the guy's right there with a stick or whatever. You're right. Draisaitl's move, it reeks. It's the same thing every time, and it's from you're not going to do this. Hyman used to get rebounds. They're not shooting the puck. We've heard this story before. I don't know how many times me and you have to tell people. Like, I don't understand what the coach saying. Like, guys, we're down 3-0 now. Like, wherever the hell you are behind the net, bank it off. Somebody do something. But this pretty stuff, it isn't working. And Florida has a great recipe to shut down Stars. Their defensive system is brilliant.
Well, they tried. They tried early. The Oilers were doing a better job tonight of flicking pucks at the net and not getting so cute. And it was sort of, it was a 0-0 game until there was a minute left in the first period. And then, but every time they get on the power play, they fall back into the same habits. And, Florida's defensemen have been great. Like I said, just been a complete team effort. That's why Bobrovsky's going to get the Conn Smythe. You can't pick one guy out of Florida and say, oh, they're winning because of him. It's basically all of them. It's all the defensemen. The Forsling guy has blocked 1 million shots. Mm-hmm. He's a great defensive ghost. He's like really broken Draisaitl's will. Barkov on McDavid. Like I said, they've just haunted the Edmonton Oilers. And you want to talk about negativity? The Oilers media is down all the time as it is. Like, here's their head coach here right now.
Yeah,
he looks like he's talking, and you think the series is over. Like if the sound is down, he'd be like, "Well, it was a hell of a season." But McDavid. I see McDavid's quote is, "It's not over till it's over." Well,
yeah, that means it's over.
Maybe you should score some goals.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. Like I'm watching this now, and it's just like it's the body language. I'd like to see a little more anger, but it's Florida's a great hockey team, and on 5-on-5 game, we talked about this, and I when I was telling you, like, I love their defensemen. I just love everything about them, and you know what the difference is too? When Edmonton has like a forward check or whatever, Florida doesn't panic. They find a way to bounce it, reverse off the board, find a way, and they get out. Edmonton's defensemen get rattled every time they see a Florida forward checker come on them, and they have problems getting the puck out of the net. It's pretty simple. Florida has the best forward check. They're a better team, and Edmonton could barely get like out of their end, and they played really good for about a 5 to 6 minute stretch in the second period. And then things went bonkers, right? Like that's the whole thing. They were taking the play to them. They were shooting, and they just couldn't capitalize. Got to give Bobrovsky a lot of credit too.
Yeah, tonight though they were better tonight. Tonight the Panthers beat them at open ice. It wasn't like the Panthers, wasn't so much of like relentless forecheck pressure tonight. They beat them. They outskilled them, which is another somewhat surprise. And that's another thing. If you're Edmonton, is very deflating. Like a good example is when it was 0-0. I talked about it before the series started. I said it's a good trade-off if you get Tkachuk off the ice for somebody and you turn it into a 4-on-4. And they did, right? They did. They got, I think it was Corey Perry. I think it was Perry, whatever. It was Perry and Tkachuk. They went to the box. Boom, 4-on-4. If you're Edmonton, that's a massive advantage for you suddenly, supposedly, right? It supposedly is. But what happened? Boom. It was Florida that scored on a nice goal. They flicked it at the net, nice little deflection. They scored on the skill. And a lot of their plays tonight were just fast break, little mistakes by Edmonton, little breakdown here, fast break. But hell of a hockey team. And I'd say the series isn't done, but, this series is done. I'll get people the updated number right now. The Aces and the Mercury at 75-74 for the record. And there's still one full quarter to play. The total was to play once again. These West Coast WNBA games have been track meets. The total is 193.5 in-game right now. The Las Vegas Aces up 75-74 on the Phoenix Mercury. They were laying 5.5 before the game started. So as far as the U.S. Open is concerned, it was an entertaining day of golf today. It'll get more challenging as we advance. Mm-hmm. Scotty Scheffler showed up with a new look and struggled a little bit early, started to put it together as the day went on. But the odds makers are not really, they're they still believe Scheffler is in the mix here. He's the second choice right now. So the updated number, Rory McIlroy is plus 260 to win. Scotty Scheffler checks in at plus 650. A Berg is plus 700. Bryson plus 750. Cantley 9-1. Xander 16. A lot of interesting numbers on the board here still, Cam. And it's going to be tough for a lot of these people at the top to maintain this. Koepka's 25-1. Morikawa's 25. Finau is 30. Fleetwood is 50. Hatton's 33. Who's going to make a move tomorrow?
I'm going to tell you, Gabe, if you got DeChambeau in your pocket, I feel very good about his game. But I'm going to say this. Brooks Koepka was 3 under at one point, and he kind of faded down the stretch to even. That is a very good number for him. Me and you both like Morikawa to do well. He finished second in the last major. It's actually kind of funny with the guys playing. DeChambeau second and Morikawa. Morikawa's been a top 5 machine. I'm going to tell you this. Those are good prices. Remember at the start of the tournament, he was bet down to 14. He's 5 shots off the lead. He is even, and the leaders are at 5 under. Don't count out Colin Morikawa. He missed a lot of short putts today. If you can get that putter going, I think he's dangerous. Good call by you on Finau. It's been a good start for him. And Ashke Batea, a lot of lefties did pretty well. So nice round by him. But I'm going to tell you, Gabe, Morikawa's going to make a move.
I still like Bryson, but he was 18-1, now plus 750 only.
Crazy how many teams had a chance to win. The Ripper GC went from 9 back to leading by 2 to near the cellar again late in the day. It was so volatile, counting 4 scores. It was pretty nuts, but you know, the cliques have been cellar dwellers for basically 2.5 seasons, and they come out victorious today. That's awesome.
It'll be the summer of the cliques, definitely. So, like I said, there's definitely more to come from us.
It was a magnificent ball striking performance.
Yeah, you know, I got to speak to someone in his camp before he teed off this morning, and they said to me that he is finally feeling extremely comfortable out here. He's not thinking about any swing thought. He's going out there, he's swinging so freely, and it certainly showed today. The way he drove the ball, the way he hit his irons, and even in his putting as well.
Yeah, and lives in Texas, went to school in Texas. His tour win on the PGA Tour was here in Houston, which is Texas, and now his first live win, Texas.
Honestly, it was just a matter of playing solid coming down the stretch. I think there was a switch there on 15 that I made birdie, he made bogey, and I just knew that I had to power in pretty much, and it was mine. The 18 I made bogey, but it worked. He played unbelievable, and he put pressure all the way to the end, and it was a good battle. I love playing here. Obviously, Texas treats me well. It's my adopted home state, so I'm just happy to get it done again in Houston.
All right, so we're in the exact same spot as we seem to be in every night here. The Chicago White Sox have a lead late in a baseball game. One thing about these guys, and I'm not betting it, and I kick myself because I say it every night when we talk about them, when they have the lead and we don't trust them late, is they seem to have the lead a lot. Maybe they're like, I got to check in on this first 5-inning thing because they do seem to have a lead a lot, and then they lose late. They're up 2-1 right now, top of the 9th inning. They have a runner on first base. There's one out. And they're minus 550. So, in other words, the Mariners are plus 375 and very live right now to come back, especially only down 1 run if the White Sox don't add anything to this. And suddenly there's 2 out. So, We're not going to win it every night, but it has been a rock solid bet betting against the White Sox late in these baseball games, and the Mariners have really been good at coming back as well. All right, Julio's going to step up and in. At least he's on the radar. Kurtz is on the radar, but he's out tonight. We got the Euro Cup that starts tomorrow with Germany and Scotland. We'll get to that, and some more U.S. Open picks, and the NBA Finals, of course, tomorrow. Detroit Lenny's going to step up and in a level 3. We got Brent Beard to break down all this craziness in college football. But speaking of craziness, here's a great video that I found today. Today's Thursday's Best of X.
1, 2, go. What you gonna do, Hulkamaniacs, when the Hulkster, the entire country of Canada, the Niagara Falls Comic-Con, and the 24-centimeter pythons run wild on you, Jack? Let me tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna be the cream of the crop. And I'm gonna watch Hulkamania do his grandstanding and his hot dogging. But the Macho Man Randy Savage is the cream of the crop. Does it better. Oh yeah, dig it.
That was awesome.
I didn't see it coming.
Me
He
neither.
goes from Hulk Hogan and he turns around and he busts into Macho Man Randy Savage and dressed as both split. Got to give this guy a lot of props.
Oh, fantastic, Morency. That's the thing. Like when he turned to Savage, wow, and perfectly too. That's
Yeah, at first it's just sort of he's a Hulk Hogan knockoff, and it's funny, you know what I mean. But when he turns around and it's like that's like performance art right there.
It really was.
You know what I mean? He turns around and you don't see the other side, and it's like, whoa, he's like now he's Macho Man. He was just Hulk
The
Hogan.
thing is, like when you do that too, like how, like you have to be perpendicular perfect. Like he did it perfect with the side too and everything. No, great job by that guy. Like, yeah, you're right. At first, I'm like, who's this guy? Big deal. Like a lot
You
of
can
guys
hear when
do
they did the
Hogan.
video, they said, "All right, go." I guarantee you, it took them a couple of times because to make sure they don't show it. Because you know, what I mean, if you see him split it half, you could sort of give, it doesn't give it away because he's only Hulk Hogan, then he turns around and he's only Macho Man. But great stuff. Props to this dude at the Niagara Comic-Con. Great job. That video is from YouTube and from the Buzz. What was it? Buzz TV, Buzz Trend Wrestling, Buzz Trendy Twitter. So yeah, good stuff. 3-0 for the Texas Rangers right now. End of the 6th inning. So the Dodgers went off and put up 15 runs in game 1 of this series, and then scored 2 only in the next game. And now we're being shut out here. 2-1. We're going to the bottom of the 9th inning right now. So classic Mariner spot. Pretty good deal. You're getting plus 320, down 1 run to the Chicago White Sox. Just moved to plus 310. It's going to happen again here. Plus 310.
You're right, though. It's funny. When I did in-game live game before our show, and I was talking to Ranieri, it's the same thing. Those guys are all talking about the White Sox first 5. So we do have to get the numbers on that. But, after the 5th inning, they seem to be
we're
a
late
train
to the
wreck, but-
now.
Yeah, we are. Actually, very late to the party. I
There's
never really
been a
even
trend
felt like
for the last week and a half. It doesn't mean it'll continue.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, and that's the worst thing, to get on the train like at the end of the stop. Like I rode Cincinnati for a while. They had their little win streak, and now they're coming back down to earth. That's the whole thing. We got to find stuff before we hit the final destination. But I expect no lead is safe for the White Sox. You know that.
The Euro Cup starts tomorrow, and there's been a little bit of line movement here. Germany were like minus 350 against Scotland. Now it's minus 370. The draw is plus 500. Scotland to win is now plus 900. I think last night it was plus 700. So it's up to plus 900. Scotland, the massive upset. We should note this game is in Germany. So it's a pure road game for the Scots. The tournament is in Germany. The over-under is 2.5, minus 150 to the over. The under is plus 120. Scotland have a reputation of being very good defensively and not scoring. That's not the case. Like that's not really their deal now. This is how they made it. They've actually been able to score. They scored like every one of their goals. They scored a goal at least every one of their games leading up to this in the qualifying, except against Spain. Once they got shut out by Spain. Now, I'm not saying they're going to score tomorrow, but I wouldn't, I think they could. My final score for this game is 2-0 Germany. But, 2-1, 3-1 wouldn't shock me either. So I'm not really in love with the over, but I do think Germany are going to win the match. So Germany are parlay material.
Couldn't agree more, Gabe. And another thing is Scotland doesn't want to get into exchanging goals, but you're right. They do have scored a lot more. And remember their last game, they played Finland. It was 4 goals in that game, a 2-2 draw. I will say this about the
Scotland
Scots.
gets scored on a lot now.
Yes.
They don't have they don't
do.
have some great defense.
And it's in Germany too, so I'd expect Germany to win the game 2-1 or 3-1. So I do have a lean to the over.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll play a same game parlay. Let's see here, Germany in a 1.5. So we just got to get to 2. So I do like the same game parlays when it comes to soccer. There's a lot of creative ways to attack it with goal scores, but that's the first game up tomorrow in the Euro. That's the opening. And then tomorrow night, we'll be able to give you a bunch of group matchup bets and all this. This is just one of the games that starts. There's only one game, and then everything gets going. On Saturday, we got 3 matches on Saturday: Hungary and Switzerland, Spain and Croatia, Italy and Albania. So you know what's going to happen with this. Everyone's just going to be slamming all the favorites into parlays. And there's going to be upsets, and people are going to be like, I can't believe Spain didn't win, or I can't believe Albania tied Italy.
Crazy how many teams had a chance to win. The Ripper GC went from 9 back to leading by 2 to near the cellar again late in the day. It was so volatile, counting 4 scores. It was pretty nuts, but the cliques have been cellar dwellers for basically 2.5 seasons, and they come out victorious today. That's awesome.
It'll be the summer of the cliques, definitely. So, like I said, there's definitely more to come from us.
It was a magnificent ball striking performance.
Yeah, I got to speak to someone in his camp before he teed off this morning, and they said to me that he is finally feeling extremely comfortable out here. He's not thinking about any swing thought. He's going out there, he's swinging so freely, and it certainly showed today. The way he drove the ball, the way he hit his irons, and even in his putting as well.
Yeah, and lives in Texas, went to school in Texas. His tour win on the PGA Tour was here in Houston, which is Texas, and now his first live win, Texas.
Honestly, it was just a matter of playing solid coming down the stretch. I think there was a good switch there on 15 that I made birdie, he made bogey, and I just knew that I had to power in pretty much, and it was mine. The 18 I made bogey, but it worked. He played unbelievable, and he put pressure all the way to the end, and it was a good battle. I love playing here. Obviously, Texas treats me well. It's my adopted home state, so I'm just happy to get it done again in Houston.
Well, the Seattle Mariners have tied the baseball game on the Chicago White Sox. Right on cue, 2-2.
Exactly.
Told you, you're getting plus 310.
Great pick. Hey, that's crazy money. Are these guys doing this on purpose? Because it seems to be almost like every night. Lead, blow it, extra innings, lose.
But just crazy how you have to take Seattle. It's just there's no other it's just you just blindly take it. It's all right, we got to take them again. And again and again and again.
Wow.
There's been 3 times this week and twice last week against the Cubs. It's 5 times in a row with the White Sox.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like you said, you forget about the shoeless Joe Jackson and the Black Sox and stuff like that. They got to investigate this team. Like, how is this team? Like, how do you guys lose in the ninth inning as much as you do all the time?
I'm with you. Like, what's going on here? Like,
You're going to find out this team, they're all betting and cashing out in the dugout or something after the fifth inning and winning or something. Like, really, it's their bullpen and whatever it is, what it is. They haven't lost yet. It's 2-2. So they got out of the inning. We're going to extra innings now. Tied at 2.
Unbelievable, though. But that's the whole thing. Now you're in a position, Gabe. You got Seattle in your back pocket at that price, right? So that's the whole thing. I don't know. Yeah, the White Sox are a 17-52 baseball team. That's hard to do to be that bad. That's gross.
Yeah, and they were just like minus 500 to win a baseball game, up by 1 run against a good team.
You're right. Like, even like the books, like at the computer, like that's when the human has to step in and say, you got to cut that in half. Like, you can't offer that price to Seattle. Even like minus 250.
Yeah, they can't price that like it's a normal game. They have to realize it's the White Sox and it's a bad team whose bullpen blows. But, you know, Seattle, listen, it's just one of these must bets. We talk about it, though. Every night there's these games. Maybe it's the Dodgers now. You know, the Dodgers aren't the best comeback team, but they can. Right? It's hit or miss with them. They can come back. They were down 3-0. They just cut it to 3-1. They're plus 350 right now. But hell, we saw it tonight with the Oilers on that puck line. They were plus 3.5 going into that last period of play.
It's true.
I didn't take it either.
I got to be honest with you.
I was obsessed. I had a lot going on. I was obsessed with that over and the football game and stuff. But look, dude, they were plus 3.5. It was minus 170, but they were getting 3.5 goals.
We usually take that game, but I had a feeling like that's the whole thing. Even with that 4-2 goal, I'm thinking, okay, then you pull the goalie 5-2 and maybe it's 6. Like, I did not expect them to come back and lose that game by 1. Like, I'd be a liar if I told you. I thought Florida would win that game by like 3 or 4. I thought they would extend the lead in the third period, but sports is wild. And you said it. Edmonton got kind of close at the end there. Imagine that game went to overtime. Then you would have hit the over 7.5's a lock. And then after that, the whole series could have changed.
No, Edmonton would have lost in overtime just to torture their fans.
You know what? Yes.
It would have been exciting. Like what happened to me. Edmonton beat us in overtime. Same thing. I stayed. All right, boom, we lost. All right, thanks for staying. And just makes it worse. What's the number now for Saturday's game? The Edmonton Oilers are minus 120 now. The Oilers are minus 120, and the total is 5.5.
Well, elimination game, you got to let it all hang out. I'd probably go over the 5.5, and I'm going to take Florida.
It's hard to argue not to take the Florida Panthers. You know, look at their dominance in this series, in the playoffs, and you could argue, look, you're getting plus 100. It's actually plus money with them right now. Hard to argue that. I could not have read both these series more wrong, though. I really couldn't. The only good thing I didn't do is load up. I just did that 5.5. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I don't really love either of these, but I really did think Edmonton had a better chance than Dallas did. Like I thought, I'm really surprised Edmonton are getting swept here, 3-0 right now. 0-for-10 on the power play. That's why.
I thought Florida would win in 6. I didn't think, as I told you, Gabe, you know Camber too, Drew, our old buddy, he's like, Florida and sweep. I go, are you just doing this to be different? He's like, no, I believe they're going to sweep Edmonton. And I go, I'll take you out to dinner, all the drinks you can have and whatever. And now I'm sitting in a situation where, yeah, you're right. He's gonna take me to the cleaners. All my money that I won from Florida, I'm going to be giving up because I'm like, yeah, there's no way they sweep them. Yeah, great. I almost need Edmonton to win. Joke.
Yeah. You can think about hedging. I don't think he drinks that much anyway, so it might cost you more with food. But it could cost you. Good call if he pulls it off. Like I said, I can't imagine parlaying both series to be sweeps, but I'm sure there's some nut job out there that we're going to see on Twitter that put like $80,000 on it and won $3 million or something. We'll find out tomorrow.